Microsoft Advertising Intelligence is a keyword planning tool that helps advertisers build and expand keyword lists for the Microsoft Ads campaign. Now, this tool does not live within the Microsoft Ads interface. It's a free tool that you have to download separately and use with Microsoft Excel. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can find this tool and look through all the many features to really help you build and analyze keyword lists before implementing them in your campaigns. Microsoft Advertising Intelligence is like an add-on to Microsoft Excel, but Advertising Intelligence is not automatically included with Microsoft Excel. You have to go to this page, and we have it on the screen right now, and download it. In my case, I already have Microsoft Advertising Intelligence already installed to my Excel, but you will get some sort of confirmation screen letting you know it is fully downloaded, and now you can open up Excel. So now I'm jumping into Excel for the first time since downloading Microsoft Advertising Intelligence. And just to start off, I opened up a brand new worksheet. As you can see right here, I have it highlighted. Microsoft Advertising Intelligence is now a regular part of our top navigation. So let's click on that one. So as we can see, Excel has updated and we now have a few different menu items added to Microsoft Excel that we couldn't get before. To really make this tool useful, I recommend signing in to whatever Microsoft Ads account that you are using or whatever client account you want to dig into. And in my case, I'm signing off with my Microsoft account. And then I chose the client account that I want to start utilizing Advertising Intelligence for. But to get these first two options out of the way, you can see that you can sign out, or you can click the select account option, and then you could choose to sign into a different account. Next, we have the option to choose which campaign you want to start looking into. So the first thing when we choose a campaign is that you have the drop down. And I know it's all blurred out so you can't see anything, but you only have the option to choose one campaign at a time. Next, you can add anywhere from 1 to 50 ad groups. In my case, I'm going to just highlight every single ad group and bring them over, and then we can click next. After we've chosen our campaign and selected ad groups, we can choose which date range we want to use to review the performance from the keywords in this campaign. This account is smaller. I really want to have as much data as possible, so I'm going to select the year so far. And now we can click download. Through the magic of editing, I've already filtered out, as you can see, to just include the active keywords within any of the ad groups in the campaign that I have chosen. And what we see on the screen right now is pretty much all the data that we get when looking at the select campaign option within Microsoft Advertising Intelligence. This gives us a basic understanding, depending on the date range that you have chosen, how the keywords are performing for whichever ad groups and campaign you have selected. Now we can see in this case that out of all the ad groups and keywords I selected, there are 4 keywords that are pretty much driving all the traffic and the spend and the conversion from this particular campaign. And if I wanted to expand upon this campaign, I can go to our next option within Microsoft Advertising Intelligence, and that would be keyword suggestions. I have highlighted the 4 keywords that are driving a lot of the traffic, and then I'm going to go back up to keyword suggestions and click on selected items. Now, after this information is done uploading, we are going to get a list of generated keywords, and we can see that in column B, based upon the keywords that we selected to use as our reference for Microsoft to go find new opportunities for us. And those keywords that we selected from our other tab are going to be in column A. As we see in rows 1 and 2, these keyword suggestions are pulling stats from this particular date range. So in my case, it's pretty much pulling almost like the previous month. And then we get stats on how the keyword performed on the Bing network for the typical markets that we are running within this account. So we're getting overall impression numbers, the amount of times the suggested keyword has been searched. Then we see clicks, CTR, CPC, and spend. If your boss or your clients are looking for estimation numbers, those are going to be in the final 3 columns we see in columns J, K, and L. So mainline 1 is going to be what it would take potentially to get in position 1. And then mainline is the estimate for the overall top positions on the first page of the results. And then the final column is first page, just getting on the first page of results. You can see the costs go down the further down the page that we get for the most part, and that makes complete sense. One of the ways that you can use the keyword suggestions option is if you have a list of converting keywords that you know are performing very well, but when doing manual keyword research, you may be not finding a good list of keywords to expand upon and add to the account, right? If you have a list of converting keywords, you want to try to find more options similar to the ones that are already converting in your account. So it's really easy to just select the ones that are converting, depending on whichever campaign or ad group you have selected, and then have Microsoft try to help you find new ideas that may be relevant to your account. The other option would be to customize. And to do so, I'm going back into my original pull of all the account keywords from that one campaign. And now let's go into customize. Now I can tell Microsoft include any keywords within this column range, and I have that first column highlighted. I can choose up to a maximum of 100 keywords. So depending on how big your list is, I'm telling them to exclude duplicate keywords. So that's going to help because remember I hid a bunch of rows for paused keywords, and I do have match types that are the same within some of these old ad groups or within the same ad group. So I want to make sure I'm blocking those out. I can tell Microsoft to have my suggestions based on the default search provider results, specific searches with these keyword texts in them, associated keywords, or related searches from these keywords. So I want to get a little bit more specific and click searches with my keyword in them. And then if you want to get really specific, you could choose which device to see if there's any difference in performance between desktops and laptops, smartphones, non-smartphones, tablets. For Microsoft Ads, I personally see the best performance on desktop and laptops, so I'm going to leave that there. And then we can see what this option would look like. So even though you can't see it, the generated keyword column in column B, the results I'm seeing are keywords that are much more relevant to my account. This is because I told Microsoft Advertising Intelligence to make sure that my root keywords were in the suggested keyword results. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to want to add every single one of these to my account, because a few of these results I'm seeing have other companies' brand names in them, or a few other keyword qualifiers that don't quite match up to exactly what this client does, but I have a lot more options scrolling all the way down to give me new ideas of keywords I can add to the account. Another option you have to do some keyword research for the account is to create a bulk sheet. If we click on that option, we can now use the keyword suggestions tab that Microsoft just made for us with this last keyword suggestion pull, and then eventually use this to upload these keywords directly within your Microsoft Ads account. I'm going to go back later and actually cherry pick the ones that I want, but just to show you how it works, I'm just going to select these first few options in column B. These are the generated keywords that Microsoft has provided. I'm going to let Microsoft Ads know that I don't want these as broad. I want them added as an exact match. I can choose which bid option I would want to prepare to get the upload ready. We can choose their suggested options of position 1, the main line, or just getting on the first page, or you can choose a custom bid option. Then Microsoft Advertising Intelligence has remembered which campaign and ad group I used for my research, so that's automatically imported there, but you do have the option to change it if you already have different ad groups created that better fit the generated keywords Microsoft has provided. But if everything looks good, you can create, and I already have that file saved. And if I open it up, I have a CSV ready that I can take and upload into my Microsoft Ads account. So this makes adding new keywords fairly easy if you're pulling a really long list. Even though I'm kind of in the weeds a little bit with this demo, I want to skip a few sections, because if we look at location and language, all the results that we've seen so far, for me to try to get new keyword ideas, we're pulling from specifically the United States with the English language. You do have the option to change those, as well as the language. For now, I'm going to leave the language as is. I'm just going to update the country, and then let's refresh. We can see that the amount of searches has changed, all the main metrics have changed, and the bid estimates for these keywords has also changed. So the location and language is pretty straightforward, but from the refresh standpoint, any tweak that you make and you want to see different results, just remember that refresh option is always there. But now let's move on to other research options that we can use within Microsoft Advertising Intelligence. And the first one is going to be traffic. So we are going to do exactly what it says, and that's generate traffic data for the specified keywords. So again, I'm going to give it a range. You can choose which devices that you want. I'm going to select all of them. You can select your date range. I'm going to back it up a little bit just to get more stats. And since I went to a wider date range, I'm going to leave it as month for my unit of time, but you can break it down to get a little bit more specific with week and day. Now I'm going to say new worksheet and click submit. So in column A, we have the suggested keyword, because that's the column I highlighted in the keyword suggestions worksheet. Microsoft is then going to tell me which device that keyword was searched on. Going to column C, it's the time period that keyword was searched on that specific device, and then the number of searches. That's the count for Canada, but I'm going to bring it back to where I live in the United States. And then remember, hit refresh. So not only did the amount of searches for all these keywords on these devices increase, but the amount of keywords also increased. I have a lot bigger list now. We could see the end initially. Now I have almost 200 options to choose from. I'm going back to the keyword suggestions worksheet, and I'm going to click on keyword performance. I'm highlighting everything in my generated keyword column. For device, we can select all options again, or if you want to choose just a particular device, you have the right to do so. For search match type, it's going to default to aggregate. So it's going to combine all the match types together. Remember in column C right there, they have the match type separately. So in rows 5, 6, 7, they're the same keyword, but different match type. So you can choose to leave it as an aggregate total, or you can break them out. Ad position will also start off as aggregate, but you can choose the specific main line or positions 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for date range, we have 3 options: last day, last week, and last month. I'm going to leave it as last month and then click submit. Now we're getting an understanding of performance for the suggested keywords that I wanted Microsoft Advertising to review. We're getting information on clicks, impressions, click-through rate, CPC, the total cost for these new keywords, and the average bid. And this is all based upon the country and the language that I have selected up above. Circling back to something else that we talked about already, remember you can always create a bulk sheet from this information. So a bulk sheet can be created at any time. Maybe on the initial export on your keyword suggestions, you weren't ready to add anything to your account yet. So maybe you looked at more traffic, you dug into historical keyword performance a little bit more. You can do the same thing. Select and highlight the keywords that you want to export, choose your match types and bids, choose your campaign and ad group, and you'll get another CSV export that you can upload to Microsoft Advertising later on. The next research option is more research. And first we can look at web page keywords. For example, if you have a crawling tool like Screaming Frog and you want to export a list of URLs from your own website, you could do that, put it into Microsoft Excel, and then you can tell Microsoft Advertising Intelligence to use this list of URLs to help me find more keyword options to potentially add to my account. For in this example, I'm going to see what the Microsoft Advertising Intelligence URL pulls up. So the final result is going to show us the URL that Microsoft Advertising used as the source, the keyword that is recommended from that URL source, and then a relevancy score. And this is based upon the content on that page that you have told Microsoft Advertising to look up. So that's another way that you can use this tool to try to find more keywords. For whatever reason, if you have a list of keywords from a specific portion of your site and all the suggested keywords from those pages aren't really relevant to your business, then you should probably update the content on those pages. Because if the search engine can't figure out what these pages are actually about, then you have bigger problems than keywords for your PPC campaigns. But that's for a totally different video and most likely not on this channel. All right, so the next option is going to be keyword expansions. And before I click on it, let me give a potential scenario so you can understand how you can use this tool. If you use it for the account keywords, it's pretty much going to be like the keyword suggestion options. Keyword expansions, in my opinion, is really helpful if you're already doing the research. So let's stay on this web page keywords one. Let's say for whatever reason, this is my website. I really like the top 5 options that Microsoft has suggested from the pages that I submitted. I was like, oh, hey, these 5 are really great. All the ones below, not so great. So I can highlight these 5, then go to keyword expansions. Again, you can go up to 100. And when I click submit, I'm telling Microsoft to say, hey, these 5 keywords were really good. Try to find more variations of these 5 solid keywords and give me new ideas of what I can do based upon this new root keyword list. So again, if you're already using the keyword suggestion tool for keywords currently in your account, you don't need the expansions tool. All right, use the expansion tool to find more options when you're already using Microsoft Advertising Intelligence to find new keywords. When looking at keyword suggestions, there was an option earlier to give us keyword suggestions based upon searches with that specific keyword in the search. So again, that's another option that we could do within the keyword suggestions option. Or again, if you're doing additional research, or again, in this case, you can take a new list of suggested keywords. I'm only going to take these 2, advertising solutions and online advertising, and tell Microsoft Advertising, show me more keywords that have searches with these 2 keywords in them. And here we go. We get a variety of advertising solutions and online advertising keywords. Pretty broad, but my root keywords were also pretty broad too. And then to crisscross again, maybe you want to take these new keyword suggestions and start looking at historical performance on the Bing network to see if they're worth adding to your account. All right, I'm going all the way to my keyword suggestions tab again. So Bing is recommending these list of keywords. I'm going to highlight a few of them here. If we click on associated keywords, Microsoft Advertising Intelligence is letting me know that they're going to come up with a new list of keyword suggestions based on the ones that I have highlighted that other advertisers are also bidding on. Let's click submit. So again, new keyword suggestions from our initial suggested list. One thing that you may want to do here is say, okay, if other people and other companies and accounts are bidding on these new generated keyword lists, this is one I would want to look at and potentially look at the keyword performance to say, if I know these keywords have competition, how much can I potentially spend, right? And potentially see how competitive it could be to get the mainline 1 position or just potentially even on the first page. The next option, and I'm not going to spend too much time here, is going to be for related searches. So when users are searching on Bing.com, there could be a selection that shows up within the search results for exactly what it says, related searches. People also search for. So again, based on whichever keywords you select, you can get a list of recommendations from the related search results. I'm going back to the web page keywords because the next option is interesting. I'm going to highlight all my keywords again, go back up, and I'm going to select keyword categories. I already have my keyword selection chosen. Give me a maximum of 5 categories. So Microsoft is going to give us a list of now 5 business categories that each keyword that I have selected falls under. And then next to that business category, we get a score of how relevant that keyword is to that category. So again, my root keywords here are pretty broad. So we're getting business categories kind of all over the board. And that's not always a bad thing, because if you work in an industry where the keywords can apply to multiple industries, this may help you make a decision if you should be adding these keywords to your account. For whatever reason, if the keywords that you're researching are mostly searched for in business categories not in your industry, it might help you make the decision not to add those keywords to your account, no matter how relevant they may be. And this is the case if you're really focusing on not the amount of traffic you are driving to your site, but you're really focused on getting the right traffic to your site. So I do love this categories tool for that specific reason. Next is search user location. Going to use the same webpage URL list here. As you can tell, I'm a real big fan of this list, right? So again, select your keywords, choose your device. In this case, we have to choose one specific option. We can't select all of them. Next, for type of location, you can choose country or region, state or province, the metro area, or the city. I want to break it down a little bit further, so I'll leave it as state and province. So I want them to give me the state information for these keywords for the parent country, the United States. So let's click submit. So now we see the percentage of how these keywords were searched broken out by the specific state. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to do this individually for each device if you really wanna see that, if it's that important to you. But I've used this tool in one particular case. I have an e-commerce client that knows their top selling states. Consistently, these 10 states are their best selling states for their product. So if I'm using this tool and I wanna find more product related keywords to try to add to the account, I'm gonna use this tool to see if our best selling states look for these keywords. They are the best states that are gonna give me the best odds to get a high ROAS on these keywords I add to the account. So if you do any specific geo-targeting, again, this can go down to the city level. This can really help you break out what search terms are important depending on the user's location. And instead of using user's location, we can also get some demographic information by pulling age and gender research. Have my keyword selected, and this time we can select all the devices. To make it easier, I already filtered just by desktops and laptops, but now we can see an initial keyword list, the percentage breakout by age and by gender. This can be very helpful if you already have a persona figured out, you know who's your best converting age demographic or potentially your gender demographic. So now you can get information of how these users are searching for these keywords on the Bing network. And look at this. Who says Bing is only for the old people, huh? You won't know until you do the research yourself. And the last option under our more research category is going to look into bid estimation. Highlighting my keywords again, and let's look at bid estimates for these keywords I selected. We have the range already chosen. Select your match types. I'm going to leave it at just exact. If there's a specific ad position you want, I'm going to choose just the main line, any of the top 4 positions. Instead of ad position, you can choose a specific bid. It is one or the other. You can't do both. Choose your currency depending on whatever country or region you're in, and then you can click submit. Now I'm getting information on the minimum bid it's going to take for me to get into that mainline position that I chose before pulling this worksheet. So let's ignore the first keyword option. Let's look at the second one, online advertising. So an estimated minimum bid to get online advertising in that position is going to be $5.04. But the average CPC for anyone in the mainline position is $7.61. And then we get estimated min and max numbers for impressions, clicks, and the potential cost. And the last section I'm going to go over in today's video on Microsoft Advertising Intelligence is going to be their section on keyword research templates. Initially, we see some seasonal holiday keyword retails, and it's broken down by specific industries. If I scroll down further, there's a search query insights dashboard. There's one that mixes social media with your keyword research, so it's going to take tweet-based keyword expansions. It's more for geo, word order randomizer, keyword list generator. So I'm going to scroll back up and look at the search query insights dashboard. But before I do, I want to note the markets on the bottom because these templates are available in limited markets. So if you're not available in one of these, I don't want to waste your time, but we'll look at the search query insights dashboard really quick. So the main template is already set up because we know you are a good PPC expert. You are reviewing your search query reports on a consistent basis, and you're finding some cool keywords in your reports that you potentially want to add to your Microsoft Ads accounts. So you can take one of those search queries, add it to the search query field. If you want to update the country or your device or the date range, you could do that, but you just saw I hit refresh and the information updated. So now Microsoft Advertising Intelligence has already given me the weekly trend depending on that date range, the day of the week trend to help me with my ad scheduling optimization. There's age breakout for this search query I'm reviewing. There's a gender breakout for the search query. We see the top states for this search query. And remember, location is another one that we can change within Microsoft Advertising Intelligence, so I can break it down to the city level if I want to. And again, I'd have to go up and hit refresh. Expanding that one out a little bit more, we get related rising searches. So now I'm getting even more keyword ideas based on this converting search query I may have found in my reports. And that was just one of the keyword research templates. There are a few other ones that you can choose from, but as you can see with everything that we've talked about today, there's a lot that you can do within Microsoft Advertising Intelligence. I've really grown to love this tool and use it more often, and hopefully this demo gave you some ideas of how you can use this for your search accounts as well. As you can see, there's a lot that we can do with this tool, and you don't have to use it just for your Microsoft Ads campaigns. I like to use Microsoft Advertising Intelligence to also help keyword research for my Google Ads campaigns. So check out the link in the description below and download the free tool. It's going to make the time that you spend doing keyword research and analysis a lot more productive.
Thanks for watching our video. If you found it useful, give us a thumbs up below.
We release a new video at least once a week, so if you want to see more from the Paid Media Pros channel, be sure to subscribe.